My next stop on my Ireland visit was Portrush. It is a seaside resort community similar to Jersey Shore. We went there in the off season, so there wasn't a whole lot of action going on. So we got to see exactly how the locals live there and all the stuff without the crowds. Now, Portrush has 3 beaches. They also hosted the only open championship outside of Great Britain at the Royal and Ancient Golf Club of St. Andrews. Portrush is also home to world famous Lush nightclub. Look them up. But before I get too deep into these explanations, let's get to the video. The Queen passed away shortly before I got to Ireland, and her burial was on Monday. A lot of places were closed, but Northern Ireland, not so much. They're not big fans of the Queen in Northern Ireland. Go figure. So going to Portrush, get to the train station there outside of Belfast. You can see platform number 4. Nice weather outside, so it was no problem waiting out there. And then on the train ride up to Portrush, all the beautiful countryside. A lot of farmland, a lot of greenery, which I'm not used to being in the Southwest, but it was a great change of pace. You get to Portrush, here's the train station. Here's a view outside the train station from across the road. Now, I told you they were not big fans of the Queen, but there are some people who like the Queen, so there were, displays and flowers placed around. Here is the town hall for Portrush, built in late 1800s. If you want to know where it's at the very tip-top northern part of Northern Ireland. There is an actual Portrush map, and I need to go find my room before it gets dark. Here we go, the Elephant Rock. It was a really cool resort hotel. You want to know why it's called the Elephant Rock? Well, their logo right here is representative of the Elephant Rock right there that's outside in the bay. This room, I know it looks like it was designed by a mob boss from The Sopranos' wife. It's very, very ostentatious, very loud. I had one question, and that was, why is the TV all the way across the room? Now, this was a weird layout. You had to go downstairs and across the building and up another elevator to get to the bar area. This probably was a couple different buildings put together. And their view from the bar area, we had our neighbors out there working out in the backyard. And didn't make me want to work out. These flowers were growing outside the hotel. I don't know what they are. If you do, please let me know in the comments. I think they look kind of cool. Here, out there by the ocean, looking back at, I guess, Resort Row. There's Elephant Rock. A lot of these places are for sale or being redone, remodeled. So if you're looking for a resort property in Portrush, I know a couple places that are available for you. Okay, the locals out on the water. This is September, late September in Northern Ireland. Ocean water. This guy, just the wetsuit, barefoot with his kid. I thought maybe the water's not that cold. So I ventured down to check, and nope, it's way too cold. Ain't no way I'm going in. But you could go buy a crab line and go catch some crabs. There were plenty of those around. Now, the next morning, got up, had a great breakfast, and went out to explore. Right around the corner was this really cool looking monolith in a park. It's a plethora of churches because, they love their religion. So I love the architecture on these old buildings, all the stonework, the spires, a lot of the stained glass, the really cool windows. So they had that one. Then they had this Methodist church right down the street from it. So there's no shortage of places to go and get your religion on. I thought my wife put this billboard up for me, but come to find out it was just an advertisement for the church. Any resort area is known for all their amusements, and wow, Portrush had tons and tons of amusements. Kind of remind me of Coney Island during the off season. They're all open. There's just not a lot of people in there. A lot of the locals, I guess, don't go there all the time. It's for people on vacation. As you can see, off season doesn't look very full. They did have an amusement area right outside the train station. which during the on season, I'm sure it's packed. They even have a little water world there. I don't know why you'd need a water world next to the ocean. I included this because I have the sense of humor of a 12-year-old, and I think it's funny. Portrush does have a yacht club. They are open year-round. Like I said, though, we were there during the off-season, not a big crowd. You got the tugs and the personally owned boats, some sailboats out there. A lot of personally owned little boats for people going out on the water. The Harbor Bistro. Now I want you to pay attention to these rules because every business should have rules like this. There was an observation deck on top of the yacht club. You got a great panoramic view, but the view doesn't tell you anything. Let me show you what it sounded like. All that walking was making me hungry, so I started my trip back toward the hotel where the restaurants were. Right across the way, there's an awesome park right there by the seaside. Lots of walking trails, lots of rocks to climb on. And I risked my life to get this shot. Climbed all the way up there with the camera, only to have somebody not zoom in on the picture so you can't get a good shot of it. Okay, the shanty didn't have the fish and chips I was looking for. They told me the Kraken was the place to go for fish and chips, which was straight across the path. So walked over there. It was really, really cool setup. You go into one of these little booths here and sit down and you can order. There's a QR code to pull up the menu. And basically you just kind of text them the order, send it through Wi-Fi, whatever. And you don't even have to leave. You just go and find an empty spot. So I found this great bench overlooking everything. And I got my monster fish and chips. Okay, my 12-year-old sense of humor maybe include this picture too. Got up the next morning, went to the train station, and we're on our way to Derry/Londonderry, depending on which side of the fence you're on. That was my quick and dirty tour of Portrush, Northern Ireland. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, check out some of my other travel videos. And while you're at it, subscribe. It really does help us out tremendously. And hit that bell icon while you're at it. You'll be notified when we put up another video. And until you see that next video, later, nerds.